nonsense. And this is focused on Liberia. Hit it! From Cape to Cape Palmer, mountain back to Atlantic Ocean, over me hills to Country, to educate, elevate, and promote. Talk about home affairs, hey, in diaspora, current affairs, hey, reliable information, history, talking about culture, hey, politics, education, entertainment, business, sports, advertisement, articulation. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. From Monday to Sunday.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Focus on Liberia. This is the FOL Marketplace. We are live on Kear Radion 95.9 in Monrovia. Also, our various social media platform. Today, our topic is why it matters: the disruption in trade and regional economies caused by the Israel-Iran war. To put it, in another way, as we may all know, there's a war going on, Iran and Israel, because Israel said Iran is developing nuclear weapon and they're not going to allow that. As a result, they're going to diminish their capability to enrich uranium or develop nuclear weapon, which is a threat, according to Israel, to world peace. They're going to bomb them so that they don't do it. Iran has retaliated to bombing. America, the big brother, joined in and also bombed Iran. So we are looking at this. This is going to cause some problems. We call disruption in trade. How is that going to impact all of us? Whether you're in Liberia, you're in Guinea, you're in Somalia, you're in Europe, you're in Australia, wherever. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And the people who know about this thing, our focus is not about who is right or wrong in the world. Our focus is not about what's going on, what is the moral or whatever. All we are going to talk about is the economic impact. How does it impact us economically? Our pocketbook, when prices go up, will things be more expensive? All that we're going to talk about and why, based on the people who know about it. Let me turn it to the host of the show now, Mr. Gabriel M. Carter. Welcome, Gabriel.
I think because it's gonna be like the cost coming in, so I think today keep passing.
Yeah, but we got to do the show.
Sure.
What are they calling to? We want them to call and take part on the show and understand what we're talking, so that they can interact, so we can explain to them what's going on, how it's going to impact them.
Sure.
So let them hold on small. Let's start the show. Because when they call now, what they're going to say? You have to tell me hello.
I get a ball rolling.
All right, let's do it. Percy, welcome, Gabriel. I'll turn it over to you.
Dennis, thank you for the great introduction, and I think you said it perfectly. We're not trying to look at the political or trying to look at the geopolitical alignment, who's taking side or which country is aligning with which fashion of this war. What we want to look at is basically the economic impact, either from a macro level, or we want to specifically what we want to do today is look at it at a regional level, meaning the impact of that on Africa as a whole specifically. So this is what we want to look at, and I think there are a lot of meat on this bone that we're going to peel off, and I'm glad to be in the studio with Percy to unravel all of this and make sense of it. And as we always like to say, bring your questions, but most importantly, bring your perspectives. We love perspectives. So wherever you are, take an hour and a half and join us, and let's unpack everything that is happening globally. Thank you. If you're not living under the rock, hopefully you've been following. So this is not new to you. Yeah.
Percy, your opener, and then I will go to Joy so we can get some of these guys.
I'm getting used to this new time slot. Typically
I know. Sorry, I kind of caught you off guard.
Typically it's afternoon hours. So I'm getting used to the new time slot. But like Gabby said, good thing you rightly gave the caveat. We are not yet discussing the politics and the morality of what's happening in the Middle East. It's more of giving a macro perspective economically of the impact of what that war would mean for the region, people, and other our sub-region. So that's what we're here to discuss. Hopefully the callers can appreciate the level of conversation that will be generated around this also, and see how it's going to impact them locally.
Thank you. And George, let me bring you in. If you have callers now, I want I want to interact with them. Have they heard about the war and they think it concerned them or it not concern them?
So right now, no calls yet until.
All right. So let's get into it. Gabriel.
Okay, so I think we have our first one on this line.
All right. I want to hear the caller, so I'll interact. Go ahead.
Good afternoon. Yes, we're doing great. Anybody, where you calling from? John who? Okay, John Mike. Welcome to the program.
George, we can't hear anything from the caller. You got to fix something at your end.
You hear the callers now?
No, we cannot. What are you using today? We can't hear anybody.
It's gonna be like the weather, but I think
it's not the weather. Is it loud enough in this? Because we can hear you. So the same way we hear you, the same microphone you're using.
We can't hear the caller.
Put it to the telephone mouth.
So this is the caller. Hello, caller. You can hear my guys in the States? No, it's not me. It's not me. It's the guy in the States. You can hear them? He's not hearing them? Stop. Let me see.
It's not a problem. We are not hearing them. They can hear us. So stop fixing the wrong thing. Fix the one that is the problem.
Yeah, let him share that. Let's continue.
Okay, he said hearing from the States, so I need you to talk. Yeah.
Increase the volume.
That's again our concern.
There you go.
We are listening.
Okay, so Dennis, you hear the caller, right?
It's perfect now. Thank you. Yes.
Some of all are listening carefully with the expert window. Tell all mingle with the economic effect of the war. We are concerned and we want to know more because we are not from the economic background. So we are
Thank you. Thank you. That's what we need. All right. So we want them to listen now and give us like 30 to 40 minutes so we can break it down and then people can call to interact. Okay, Josh?
Okay. So now you listen to quarter it much better, right?
Yeah, Josh. It says good. So we want to give little background here. The first question is, Gabriel.
Yeah. So first of all, and again, we want to look at this thing from as if you don't have a clue as to what's happening, you know, and what is happening with this war. As Dennis, I think you gave a good brief discussion. I mean, introduction in terms of the war between Israel and Iran and how it started and how the U.S. got involved. Uh, as a point of retaliation, when the United States actually decided to bomb Iran, they actually reacted by I'm not sure right now as we speak whether that is still closed, but they did actually temporarily close the Strait of Hormuz. And basically, what this strait is basically one of the most strategic choke point in the world. It's been pretty much one of the most strategic choke point in the world for over centuries, and it actually is located between the
Is
Persian
there a
Gulf.
way? Is there a way
Go
for
ahead.
to post it, like get a graphic of
A
what
graphic. I know. I wish I have gotten
what
a
that
graphic.
region is, so that people can understand how narrow that path is and why it would cause problems economically?
Yeah,
Maybe if you could just get a Google version or Google photo of the map of that particular area, it would be much better, so
absolutely.
people can have to see what's obtaining. But go
That's
ahead,
a good
Gabby.
point. But yeah, thank you. I think that is a great point. I should have done that. Hopefully, Dennis can help us with that. So basically, it's located in the Persian Gulf, and the Gulf of Oman, and it provides pretty much the only sea passages between those two areas to the open sea. So this is why it's very strategic. If you're looking at the screen right now, you can see how narrow that path is. Right now, you might want to ask the question. The next question that might come to mind would be, so why is this thing so important? Why is this, do you guys decide to talk about it, on a show on a Saturday, when I could have been somewhere else, doing something else, right? So it is basically, it's, contains about 20% of it doesn't contain, but 20% of the world liquefied natural gas goes through that. And 25% of the seaborne oil trade pass right through that strait, right? Put that in perspective. We have almost 8.2 billion people in the world. 20% of the natural liquefied gas that goes through different country go right through that passage, right? And 25% of seaborne trade, so 25% of sea trade go right through that, right? So this is why I think this is very important in terms of, when you look at the war and you look at what is happening in terms of those two countries bombing each other and this, reaction from Iran to close that, you know, this is where everybody should be concerned. Okay,
Okay. So
there's
Gabriel,
war,
let me ask. So you are
right?
saying the ships or whatever this street, right, that we seen it on the screen.
Right.
So the ships or whatever is bringing the oil got to pass through there to come to us.
Absolutely.
And what is that place connecting from where to where?
So it connects is it pretty much like a passageway into
Right.
the broader ocean,
All
right?
right.
So it's like a shortcut, right? But it's a very narrow strait, which is like a shortcut that goes into the ocean, right? And as I said earlier, 20% of liquefied natural gas. And if you live on the continent of Africa, regardless of what country you live in, I mean, what country you're from on Africa, most of us cook with natural gas, liquefied natural gas, the one that you see that goes through the tanks that people carry and buy in a market and carry to their houses, right? In addition to that, 25% of trade, meaning your stuff you order from either China or UAE, Dubai, and all of these, 25% of trade, whether from Europe and other countries, go right through that, right? So if you shut that off, the impact of that economically to other African country could have a reverberating impact on all of Africa as well, not just all of Africa, but the world. So that's why this is important.
And who controls this street?
Exactly. So this is controlled by Iran. I
Oh,
think from estimate they make about I think 90 billion a year or so. I could be wrong. You guys can keep me honest. I think the last time I checked it's about that, or even more than that, right? So they control it. They have a complete control over that, you know. So this is why Iran is, and this is where they make, you know, to go a little bit context, this is where they make most of their money to fund their military, keep up their military operation and make them one of the most powerful military country in that region as well. Right? Yeah.
good. Percy, you want to add? The
Yeah.
Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah. So, like Gabriel rightly said, he was quantifying it in terms of how much oil and liquid gas passed through the straits. But when you think about it on a global level, like 1/3 of the world oil and gas passes through there. That what Gabriel was this aggregating is amounting to 1/3 of global trade in terms of oil and gas that passes through these straits. That's like 20% of all oil and gas that pass through this strait to go to the various destinations that it's supposed to go to. So that's so just in terms of global trade in and of itself, that is massive. That's a quarter of global trade in terms of oil and gas. The reason for that also again is because most of the countries that are around this Gulf are oil producing, as some of the world largest producer of oil and gas. Like they are part of a cartel called OPEC. It's called the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, and they were founded in 1960. Right, they came together, so they control the price of oil on the global market, and so that's why you see this particular piece of geography is very important in terms of global trade. And the fact that Iran was going to close this was going to mean higher price of oil and gas around the world. And we're talking about natural gas, and Gabriel are trying to allude to, just for the local people in like, brother, I think you're put in the tank, propane tank. That's part of it also. The propane tank that you cook with, that's some more there too. So that's what we mean, like liquid gas. That's what that eventually means. That's where it ends up at the local level. So those are the things that you're going to see price skyrocketing just in case Iran closes this Strait of Hormuz. This is what's going to be happening in terms of global trade. That's how it's going to impact global trade, and then we can get into the underlying reasons for that later on. But that's just on a macro level. That's what happened.
And breaking it down to my people in Kabah, if you all the things, the propane like you talk about, supposed to pass through that. So when the stopper is not coming, what happened is it will be the small is not available now because it's not coming. So it's small. Then the one we learned in high school, they say when the supply is low,
and demand high,
everybody want
to so the price is up. They hike the price up. So it's a supply and demand thing.
Now it will go way up. And when
way
it go
up.
way up, you can't afford it. So what are you going to do? Just sit down there. So everything's going to. So
you can call wood in the meantime.
When you live on Jamaica Road, sometimes you can call. So I mean, so the way I'm understanding it now is, even though this war is all the way in Iran and Israel, but it's going to affect somebody all the way on Jamaica Road.
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. And this is why I think we all should be concerned, you know, and this is why, you know, without trying to delve into the whole political aspect of it, this is why, in as much that I think we're not there yet and we shouldn't have, this is why I think the UN Security Council seat that we just got is important. This is where we're supposed to now come in and say, okay, we know what is happening. How do we leverage this new attained power to make sure that we mitigate some of the risks that is going to happen, you know? And this is important because, believe it or not, whether we want to partake in those discussions or not is going to impact, like you guys mentioned, it's going to impact the day-to-day lives in Liberia. You know, like we talk about, you know, if there's a shortage of fuel on the market, there's high prices of gas that people are going to pay. If you can get your goods into the market, I mean, whatever's left, the demand, you know, the supply is low. I mean, you know, and the demand is still high. I mean, there's going to be high prices of commodities and basically basic necessities on the market, because right now there's a shortage. Right now, let's say hypothetically this was actually going to close, right? And business people still have to figure out a way to get their products to their customer, and we're leveraging the other channels, transit route to get those goods in. They're going to be high costs to do that, right? Because of the inconvenience, and those costs will get passed down to you. This is why we're looking at it that if this is happening, this is going to go into like a prolonged state, right? We need to be concerned because they have day-to-day, not just geopolitical or global implication, but regional implication from that we call it everyday lives in Liberia or on the continent as well.
But even if they don't close, right? Let's say they don't close it, right? Let's say the streets remain open. Just the fact that there's tension in the region in and of itself is going to increase prices also, because you think about it, the tankers that move through the region that carry oil and the oil and gas that we're talking about, those tankers that carry them, the insurance premium going to go up on them, right? So the cost of transporting these things alone, even without it being closed, Dennis, just the fact that there is tension in the region and war going on, right? Even if you have to pass, right? So if you are moving your goods from there, you have to put like those tankers are insured, right? The goods are also insured, right?
Yep.
That's a cost. You have to pay an insurance premium on them, right? That cost itself is going to get elevated just from the fact there's tension in the region, and so it's going to get passed down. The cost is still going to get passed down to you as an ordinary consumer, right? So those things, just the fact there's tension in and of itself is going to increase cost.
Right, and I'm being someone who was in war too. When war is fighting, people are scared to travel because straight bullet, right? Straight bullet can hit the tank. So as a result, people don't want to go. So if you really want me to carry your stuff, then that means you can pay me more.
You got to pay more because of the inherent risks.
I'm taking more risks. Or since the way from Freeport to Ghana Bay is blocked, so we're going to get bypass. We're going to pass the other way, right? So we'll have, because when the war started, we were working at night, so the jet will not see us. So because of the tension, people are going to do some maneuvering. So as a result, they're going to spend more money. And that money, businessman, he can lose. So what they end up doing is they put the price on that, and then you, the consumer, you buying the propane gas, or you buying the gas, you got to pay.
Yeah, you got to pay. And you who ride in the car, also you're going to see your transportation costs go up. All that. You're not only at the pump, because then the taxi driver, the bus drivers, they all have to increase costs because now the price of gas is up now, right? The cost of kerosene is up. All those things are up. All the byproduct of the oil that we get, they are all up. So now you're going to see that's going to trickle down into your pocket. And then that's what we call inflation, right? Inflation is going to be happening. There's going to be inflation in the economy because all those costs have gone up now. So things are more expensive than they would have been in the past, right? So that's what we call inflation. So you have an inflationary economy in terms of that, because everything else in the economy is underpinned by transportation. You have to move goods and services here and there. So the fact that those things that facilitate our transportation the costs are going to go up on them. The ordinary consumer themselves are going to see their costs going up. So that's what this war means also, right? It's going to mean the trickle-down effect.
If I were going to Wiyala to buy my coal and carry to Gorbachev market, because the prices are high now because of the gas, I told my coal price when I'm selling it to Gorbachev, I will put the price
going up. So everything going up, so that's what it is. And you can think about that, not just your coal, every basic commodity that you think
trade,
about,
right?
In the country is going to get impacted because they involve transportation, and transportation involve gasoline involve oil. You know what I mean? So you can go all the way back to those things. So the fact that those things are going up exponentially in terms of cost, you're going to see your cost also going up as the consumer on the consumer side also.
Yeah.
So that is on the Strait of Hormuz, right?
Yes.
What about, because the people are bombing? I thought they were also bombing some oil wells, right?
They did actually. I believe. What is it? Israel was targeting some of Iran's without trying to get too much into this, Israel was targeting some of Iran's oil, what do you call it? Oil facilities as well, because they know that most of the
money.
the money that comes to Iran to fund their military operation comes from their oil, right? So again, it goes back to what we were saying, right? With that being Iran being one of the major oil producer in the world, if you have an impact or a blow to their oil production capacity, that means, basically, perfect example, just during this war, the price of oil, the crude oil on the major indexes, the stock market, trade, it went up, right? Just because of this, right? Because everyone who trade oils and those commodity understand that with this continuity of the war, ongoing, there's going to be a blowback for this, right? That means those who now that are like Percy mentioned, the OPEC countries import oil to different countries, right? They don't have the capacity to to supply all the oil to the rest of the world, right? So that shortage that is coming from Iran was causing the oil price to increase, right? So we shouldn't just look at this as just oil. I think we talked about the trade as well. 25% of the trade. That means everything from your cars, the clothes you wear,
your sneakers,
the sneakers, and everything that comes from other country to Africa or any part of the world, right? Those will get impacted. So this is not just about oil and the inflationary impact that it'll cause on the continent, but also trade in totality and what it can do from a inflationary standpoint as well. Yeah.
Wow, this is interesting, right? Because and not trying to be political, but since the war started, or anytime there is war, the only thing we think about is who right, who wrong. Especially then we make it like religion and all that, right? But no matter who right, who wrong, we are all impacted. And I thank you guys for making it clear to all of us that hey, this is the impact. So in other words, so what do we do is to avoid this kind of conflict, and each of us will have a role to play.
Right, and that's a good segue into our next question here. And this is something that I've been thinking about even before coming on the show. That and is sometimes when you're always on a reactionary side, there's a common point where you don't react too quick enough, and you end up taking a hit. And most African countries have always been on the reactionary side, meaning that we've always been subjected. Yeah. We've always been subjected to global economic shocks, meaning there was the COVID, there was the Ukraine and Russia war, and now all of a sudden we have the Iran and Israel war, right? So most African countries have always been impacted to global economic shocks. So the biggest question I think we should be asking ourselves on the continent, every major, or not even every country, government should be asking themselves is, how do we put ourselves in a position to have some, not just energy security, but food security, food sovereignty? How do we put ourselves in a position that we can better deal with these global shocks? So when it happen, we're not impacted to the extent where we're scrambling. Like perfect example, when the Ukraine war happened, South Africa had to go to mitigate some of that impact because of the import of grain from Ukraine. So that means the question becomes, how do we better prepare ourselves to deal with these global shocks? And I think this is the question that I think we need to be thinking about. Yeah. You're muted.
Before we get to that, Gabriel and Percy, I want you to tell me. Yeah, we said all these things come from there, but do you have an idea how much Kenya, for instance, get from from there? How much Liberia? How much Guinea? How much Yugoslavia? I mean, just broadly, how much have we dependent on things that are passing through that strait?
I mean, the impact is more severe on East African countries because of the proximity to that region, right? So the impact is straight. Like if you live in Kenya, Somalia, Eritrea, Ethiopia, right? Probability is you get maybe 100% or close to 50%, whatever the amount, maybe between 50 to 100% of your oil and energy supply from Saudi Arabia, from that Gulf region, right? So the impact is swift there, and then and then you can extend it to places like Europe and other countries around, other global countries around the world. But in terms of West Africa itself, the impact, even if you don't have that direct impact, the indirect impact is still severe, Dennis, because now let's say like Liberia got her oil from Nigeria, right? And this thing is happening, even though Nigeria is not in that region, right? But because of the shortage that will occur, right? The demand for Nigerian oil will go up also, right?
Yeah.
So you will see the increase in price also that will be affecting. So people that
Plenty
were
of
taking
people
oil,
want to buy oil from Nigeria.
oil from Nigeria now,
From
yeah.
Nigeria,
because
okay, I'll put my price up.
so the indirect, so that war, the war in and of itself has an indirect effect on West African economies also indirectly, because the cost is also going to trickle down there, because now people will be looking for places that is not in a hotbed of war, war going on. They will be looking to buy from these places because there's peace, it's easier, but then the demand will carry the price up, because Nigeria can only supply a finite amount of oil and gas in a particular space of time. So if the more demand you have, you're going to see price increase. And then places like Liberia and along the coast that typically will get the energy source from places like Nigeria will see prices going up also. So this is not just in Iraq and in Iran and Israel that these things are impacting, but globally. I'm just giving the sub-region impact for our people to understand. But there are other regions too that is also going to be impacted, are energy producing, because then you're going to see everybody's going to be floating there to get that, because this place is risky. Nobody wants to take the risks, so they're going to places that which will inadvertently increase price on those other regions also. So that's why it's in everybody's best interest to make sure that this place is pacified as much as it can.
I like that Nigeria example, right? Because let's say not many people, let's say 100% were asking Nigeria for oil.
Yeah.
So now I'm only giving that example to make it clear. So my So now 1,000 people asking Nigeria. So Nigeria that used to sell 1,000 barrel now have to sell 3,000 barrels.
Yeah.
As a result, now Nigeria say, well, we can't do it, so we got to employ more people to be digging oil, or we got to increase this. We got to so all that money now. So in order to do this, we got to sell our oil expensive now. We got to increase the price. So everything, and then when as the oil is impacted, oil is affected, everything else, even rent.
Everything is impacted. Everything is affected now. Yeah, everything
so
go up with that.
The next question now is, okay, since this, and I like how Gabriel put the question, that African countries have been consistently subjected to global economic shocks. And what that means is African country, anything that happens in the world, it can affect us bad way.
Yeah.
So what can we do? What can we learn so that we can, anytime there is big things happening, in far away places, the impact on us cannot be too much. Gabriel, what are you saying?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. Right.
So it comes down to having a robust energy policy also, as not just as a region, but as a continent and as a people, right? We have to formulate more robust energy policies, meaning you have to do things like strategic reserves, right? You have to have strategic reserves. You have to do more exploration, like in the case of Liberia, we stay exploring for oil along our coast, right? So we need to do more explorations. We need to come up with this idea of a strategic reserve, meaning that when there is low prices going on in the market right now, Liberia can accumulate a certain amount of oil or gas or whatnot, so that when these things happen, right, when we have these regional conflicts going on, so even though the impact is going to be is going to hit us, but it's not going to hit us as hard as other countries that wasn't prepared for these things. Right? If you have a strategic oil reserve, you can basically go back into your oil reserve and send them to the refinery, refine them for to have oil, gas, whatever it is. You know what I mean? So it's a slew of things that can be done, but in the interim, from my perspective, just from a financial economics perspective, right? I think it comes down to the broader having a more robust energy policy, and in terms of like doing more exploration for the resources in question, which is oil, right? We're talking oil today. So explore for more of that resources, right? That basin that we're in. People are finding oil. They're gonna just discover oil. I think Benny also just had a discovery also. So the onus is on us, right, to do our own exploration, because we are in the same basin as those countries. So there's a strong probability that we too might at some point have some deposit of oil along our coast, and we should explore for that, right? Because that will make our energy not sufficient, but it will make our energy independent to some extent, right? So that we won't be able to absorb all the impact and shock from these global conflicts.
And Gabriel, before you come here, I want you to explain something you just said, Percy. That two things you said: explore oil. I mean, we look for more oil in our area.
Yeah. Yeah,
and we don't have the money for it, so that sometimes that other people can come and do it for us.
Yeah.
The second thing you said, robust energy policy. What does that mean?
So, you want to go, Gabby, or I should take it on?
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So,
go ahead. And
yes. So having a robust, a big word for saying you must have like strong policy, like strong energy policy. And we're talking energy. It doesn't mean we're talking oil, gas, and the things that keep your economy running. That's what we mean by energy, right? So you want to have a robust mean you want to have a policy wherein it takes into consideration all these war go on here. So our policy maker should be thinking. So if the fighting war here and the fighting war there and the fighting war in other places, since the price of those wars going to impact us, but if we had our own stuff here, maybe if we found our own oil here, right? Maybe we discover our own oil here. So if we get our own oil, anything that people are doing down there, you're not going to impact us as much, right? That a business, because we will have something here for our own people to be able to count on. So that's what we mean. You should have some sort of robust policy or something that's perspective, right? That's look into the future and say, this is how we're going to go forward, so that our people can suffer from the thing, and when you go on here, go on there, so our people can suffer. So that's what it means.
Something for rainy day, because even insects can pull food away when the time for the rainy day. Then why we can do it? And they're crawling. Get much sense to do that. What's about us, Gabriel?
No, I think Percy elaborated on that perfectly. It's in finance. There's a word called hedge, meaning you know there's going to be a risk on this side. That
what he just explained. Hedge. If rainy day coming, so put something aside, so that when something happens here, you can go for that. That's what they call hedging. You hedging your bet in that's what you basically synthesize, Dennis. You put stuff aside so that if something happens, that thing was there. You're not gonna fall. You'll fall, but you're not fall all the way down because you got something on the side that you have to. But go ahead, Gabby.
No, it's basically like you guys perfectly elaborated on that, and it is. I can just. Give me a second here. I gotta take
it. So, and I like how you put it, right? Because it's better. Our people say it's better to fall down while you're sitting than to fall down while you're standing.
Yeah.
Because when you're standing and fall down,
it's bad. The impact can be bad.
It's bad.
You fall from way down, it can be bad. Not good.
Right.
So that's what it is. So like Gabriel's alluding, it's called hedge. When you hear people saying they hedging, basically they're trying to put something here so that if something on the side fall down, they think they will fall down, but they will not fall down that hard because they put something here. So that thing will absorb the shock.
Personally, there are many things that can happen. Like how you said, put a robust, make it so hard that anything else will not affect it that much. Because there are many things that can affect, the economy or our oil or our businesses. So let's think. Number one, when war comes, what do we do? Number two, when there is war in far away places, what do we do? Number three, when the people in our own country, when they are rioting, what do we do? Number
Yeah.
4, in case the rain can stop whole year it raining, what do we do? In
Yeah.
case the sun is shining so much, what do we do? So before you do something, you think about all those scenarios, and then you put something in place.
In place, based on for
When,
that.
when,
Yep.
when it comes from this side, I will block it this way. When it comes from this side, I will block it that way. When it comes from up, I will block it. When it comes from down, I will bend down. So in other words, that's what they call robust energy
Policy. Yeah.
Gabriel, Lolo, I eat economy now.
That's why you always call yourself the well-rounded. It's amazing how you pick up on stuff. But no, it's like
People they still giving Gabriel a hard time. Go ahead. All right. So that's why. Then we go to our next one. Countries such as Kenya, Ethiopia, Ghana, Senegal that transit through the strait. How can these countries hedge their risk and exposure? You see the hedge again, because these countries they putting their thing through the strait. Now, how do they plan for the bad days ahead? Gabriel, take your time. If you have, you can come in when you.
No, I'm doing
That's Saturday morning, so we understand.
Exactly, I'm doing double duties here. But no, as I was saying, maybe let me expand on what I was trying to, without using economic jargons here and stuff. Pretty hedge means that pretty much if you have, let's say we're getting oil from Iran. We expected that oil to be flowing through every time, but we know there could be a possibility there's a war in that region. We can also have another alternative here, let's say with Angola or with Nigeria, right? Because with the oil from that, let's say Iran is cheaper, we can say, okay, in case something happened in Iran, we can go to Nigeria, we can go to Angola to get oil from there. That's meaning that you're hedging your bets that regardless of what happened in the region or any region or something happened in Nigeria or Angola, you're still going to get your oil. And I think Percy pointed that out perfectly. Strategic reserve, something we have not really talked about in Liberia, not even for rice, which we eat on a daily basis. We don't even have a strategic reserve for rice, right? Meaning you have so much reserve of those commodities, whether it's rice or of oil, that if something happened where the entire supply shuts off, you can tap into that until the crisis is resolved in the region or whatever region we're getting that oil from. So you have to think long term, always think long term. And this is what we don't do either from Liberia or the entire continent as a whole, Africa. This is why when something happens, we always are at the mercy of the rest of the world with these global shocks. South Africa, out of the countries, one of probably from a monetary standpoint, the biggest economy on the continent, right? The president had to go to Ukraine, to Russia, to go, resolve, the conflict because of the amount of grain that we get from those two countries, from Ukraine, right? A continent that is bigger than all of those countries combined. We are still depending on Ukraine for grain. So that should tell you the vulnerability we have on our continent. And the same applies to our oil supply. And basically, in the case of Liberia, rice, we still don't have a rice reserve. Yeah.
Right. And I like what you said there. And why is that? Is it because, so two things that when you were saying, the first thing that came to my mind as you said that is the person who is selling to us, sometimes they're telling us what to do, right? And if I'm selling school materials, copybook, pencil, pens, and you are buying from me, you think I will really tell you to make your own?
No.
Absolutely
Exactly.
not. You won't.
Right. So in other words, is the people that make us dependent on them, they are advising us what to do and you think they're going to advise us correctly so that we will not buy from them anymore?
And this is what we do not have to look for other people. I think the perfect word that Percy said is robust, meaning you are not looking at your supplier to tell you what to do, but you actually look at your interest as a country as a whole to determine, you know, if like you have to, it's unfortunate that we don't think long term. I don't think we, from basically what I've seen so far, we don't think long term in Liberia. You have to be able to think long term. Perfect example, like let me delve a little bit in the political side. We always assume that we have this strategic relationship with the United States, right? It is there, it has been grandfathered in, everybody believes it and they swear by it, right? Perfect, right? But have we at any point think about, what if there's a dispute between these two countries, and this strategic relationship that we have for centuries come to an end? What are we going to do? Who do we turn to? Have we thought about that? This is called, it's like you have to war game these strategies, meaning if that happened, what do we do? And from an energy standpoint, this is how we're supposed to be thinking about, not just in government, but in life as a whole, as an individual. This is how you're supposed to be thinking about your life. If you're working a job, you're making money, you should be thinking about, what if something happened on that job? What am I going to do? Do I have 3, 4, 5 months of savings? So the same way countries are supposed to be thinking. If I'm getting oil supply from these countries or these regions, what if something happened in that region? How am I going to survive, right? That's the strategy we need to be thinking about.
And I don't think we have even thought about, because the way we dependent, like for instance, on the US, what the US say, what the US say. I don't know whether we ever thought about, what if tomorrow we wake up and United States is no longer superpower, and United States has Somalia. What will happen to us? I don't know if anybody ever thought about that. Or we just think United States is going to be there for us forever. Or what if a president, because what United States is doing, for instance, in the Middle East, is we don't want any person to come to power who don't like us. We always want someone who is friendly to us to be in power. We as Liberians, have we also thought about, we don't want anybody to come to power who will not like us, or who will close USAID, who will deport people, who, I don't know if we ever factor that in, that it is possible that we have a president in the United States who say we don't want Liberia to be our friend anymore. In fact, we are declaring Liberia a pariah state, or we are declaring them an enemy state. I don't know whether we can think about that too. And in that case, what do we do?
Yeah, and President, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go. I'll
No,
my
I'll
train of thought.
briefly want to say, and without getting too political, this is what the APAC you hear about all the time. This is what their agenda is, meaning they lobby the U.S. government, regardless of what president comes to power. They're always going to have a lobby there who is pushing their agenda for the state of Israel, right? And I think at one point here and there, I think I've heard that we actually had lobbies in the United States lobbying for us. I don't know specifically what they were lobbying for, right? Those are the things we're supposed to be thinking about, that regardless of, whether we elect the devil himself in the United States, the devil should always have Liberia interests. If we have a lobby here, this is what we're supposed to be thinking about, right? And in the event that it does not happen, right, whoever gets elected does not have the interests of Liberia, we should always have a second, alternative. An alternative meaning, okay, do we turn to Germany? Do we turn to Europe? Do we turn to Asia? Or if not, how do we look inward to ensure that, if all other strategic relationships are no longer uh, beneficiary to Liberia, how do we continue to exist or thrive as a nation? Those are things that should be put on the table, long-term perspective. Because as a country, you're supposed to be thinking about your viability, your sovereignty, your existence, not decades, but century in advance. Not just century in advance, but in perpetuity. In perpetuity, right?
Liberia as a country have survive by just scrapping here and scrapping there. Our leaders have never thought about this country long term. We just, by God's grace, we just managed to be 178 years by God's grace. Because this whole experiment or this whole thing we call like Broku have fought a long time ago, owing to the fact that our leaders don't think in the terms that we are talking about here, long-term strategic plans. It doesn't occur to our leaders. And as a leader, when you ascend to power, you should have a vision for your country. Like, there's no way people should be ascending to high office without a vision for where they want to take this country, knowing where it has been. There's no reason for that, right? And so as we talk about these macroeconomic and these relationships, strategic relationship we think we have with the United States, for me, it's all about interest. The U.S. is an interest-based country, right? We the one hold on to the history more. We the one like the history. We the one like to think of ourselves as having a special relationship. For the United States, they treat us like every other African country, right? They don't care, right? If especially with our guy now, we like everybody else. None of that history mattered to him anyway. None of that mattered to anybody before. So for me, is we have to think about this country for Liberia. We have to build this country based on Liberia's interest, right? We have to do things that are within our purview for the Liberian people. Nobody have stopped and asked themselves, what the Liberian people really want? What are they saying that they want, right? We don't ask ourselves that question. We tend to any Tom, Dick, and Harry that come from outside or tell or anything, we tend to do it. We will ignore the plight of what Oma in Jidepo wants for herself and her children. What they really want, what she really want to see. You know what I mean? Nobody asks those questions. We all say in Morovia and just decide, yeah, America and other. Everybody gets their way with us as a people and as a country. And it's sad. And the good thing for us, the good news is we can turn this around. And the reason we can turn it around, Liberia is a resource-rich country. People will always need our resources, or we can develop it ourselves. But the process by which we go about doing that has to be strategic. It has to be long-term. It has to benefit the Liberian people so that all the asymmetrical shocks that happens elsewhere that impact us, we can mitigate it to a certain extent by having, again, robust policies in terms of energy, education, whatever, you just name it, right? We just have to put the infrastructure in place that will insulate us from those things in an adverse way. That's all. You muted, Dennis.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are just joining us, this is Focus on Liberia FOL Marketplace. We are live also on Kear Radion 95.9. And if you are in Liberia and want to be part of the show, please call the number that is on the screen. And by calling today and taking part meaningfully in the conversation, you're going to get something. We're not saying it's big thing, but you're going to get something, right? Yeah, I mean, Jika live by two. So if you can just by calling, get something for me, I will just tell all my family people, let's call. The first thing, call us. You will get something from us.
There you go.
Josh.
So wherever you are on a lovely Saturday afternoon like this, and the numbers are called 0777 959 959 and 0881 871 670, 0777 959 959 and 0881 870. That's our first caller on this line. Good afternoon. Yes, sir. Your name, where you calling from? Please, the feedback is too much from your end. Can you change?
The people are great.
What?
Yeah, but
It's drilling.
Oh, okay, they put drilling. Okay, so your name.
So move from there.
Mr. To. Okay, Mr. To. But please, change your location a little bit now. Change your location.
Hello?
Yeah, okay, you much better.
Yeah, calling from Capital Baba.
Okay, To. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Yeah, I enjoy the program so much. And why you're saying it's true, because anything that comes from that side of it will be better for it.
What?
Are you getting me?
You're getting you.
I said enjoy the program, but anything that comes from that side, I would say will be better for it.
Okay. Okay, my brother. Okay, thanks for calling. Okay, so the numbers of course 0777 959 959 0881 871 670. Let's go back to the line. Good. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Oh, we lost that caller there. The man say everything that comes from the States will be the final say. So let's take this caller right here. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Yes, my brother. Your name, where you calling from?
Oh, I'm William SP VOA.
Oh, wait on. Calling from VOA. Welcome to the program. Welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Yeah. I always listen to the program, brother. Thank you very much for the program.
Okay, my brother.
You see, there are so many things we're thinking on. You see, in every country or in every war, as a human being said, you got to get reserved.
Mm-hmm.
You see, for example, who let Russia and who plenty rest. It just only happened to the ship that bringing rest for different countries. How will survive? These are things work for another country is an example. It didn't happen to all here. We're getting Bogo away from Guinea. But in case we're going to be Guinea, maybe how will we survive? Yeah, I enjoy the program too. I don't even know what about. I'm enjoying it.
Okay, my brother.
We enjoy you too.
Okay. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Oh, the line keep pausing.
Right.
Hello,
make sure you're taking their number because we're going to give the giveaway.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, how you doing?
We're doing good, my brother. Your name, where you calling from?
This is Mr. Ebenezer Cho. I'm calling from Banave.
Calling from Banave. Welcome to the program.
Yeah, man. I want to see people from Ofi.
Yeah, I want to thank you to all of the analysts in here. I also love this program. This is my first time, monitoring this. But all of the things that people have there listed. Hello.
Brother, we can hear you.
Okay, so all of the things that you have there listed something called a robust energy policy.
Mm-hmm.
I think one key word from there, the word called robust. But most of our media in Liberia, they are not robust. Much better. They are not robust. They are not there to even put system in place. So any other thing that happens far off country, we got to advise here. Those strategic planning. So I thank you for in studio for the kind of program. Thank you very much. Let God bless.
Okay, my brother. Let's see another caller, yeah? Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes, my brother. Your name, where you calling from?
Yeah, I'm brother John from Kiaba.
Calling from Kiaba. Your name? Oh,
Okay, Kiaba, my sister there.
Thank you for the topic on discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this we are learning what we are lack of. You made me think about the war between Ukraine and Russia. Now, because Ukraine was producing burger wheat, now a single burger wheat cup now costs $150. 150 LD now for burger wheat cup. So in the world, I find the grass. You say when 2 elephants fall, that the grass can feed it.
Yeah.
And now imagine one burger wheat cup $150 because of the war in Ukraine, a recent war. So at least as a country, I will have second chance. There will be like ends. At least we still might not eat all because anytime parent can come.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to tell our father, our brother, our uncle in America, or enlightening us. At least because we know the last time June to our government, the shortage of gas. Imagine people were sleeping outside online. It was not easy to get gas.
Mm-hmm.
So it was not easy.
Thank you.
Oh, let's go back to the lines. Good afternoon. Oh, we lost our caller there. The number is called 077-959-959-0881-871-670. Let's go back to line 2 and take this other caller. Yeah, good. Oh,
I'm enjoying it, man.
077-959-959-0881-871-670. Because why? You enjoying the show because they call him Keba.
Yeah, you know.
Okay, so let's go back to the line and take the other caller. Good afternoon.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes, my brother. Your name, where you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Taman. I'm from
Mabakle, Taman. Welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Yeah, thank you so much for the program.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy one point that is this stress that Liberia we have this dependency syndrome, and we consider to rely on America so much. So what if we need to always, when we have plan A, we must have plan B. But sometimes we don't think in that direction. So it is worth thinking about this. I really like that point that my brother raised. We need to be thinking because I don't think I have it every time. Nobody depend on anybody forever. So that's just my point. Thank you for the program.
Okay, my brother. That's another caller on this line. Good afternoon. Hello, caller. Oh, we lost our caller there on 0777 959 959 0881. Okay, let's go back to the line. Yeah. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, my brother. Your name, where you
I'm
calling
calling
from?
from Clay, Bomi County.
Bomi County? Wow.
What's the name? What's his name?
Your name? Your name, sir?
I'm Jimmy Churchy GEC.
Oh, James. Okay, welcome to the program.
Yeah. The program is very unique, educated, and especially like the topic that is on the discussion that by now the government should think about fresh weather because we think about the future to be able to build up that when in terms of people. Like the color said, it's very expensive. If I say you buy 150, but you're not buying, it is not a big cup. That is small cup you buy for 150. You see?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay, my brother. Okay, that's another call on his line. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes, my brother. Your name, where you calling from?
My name is Orano Nebe. I'm calling you from 12th Street.
Okay, so let me just hold you there. We have somebody on this line, the big man himself. Good afternoon, people. Michael. Good afternoon.
How are you? How are you? How are you?
We're doing great. The man himself on the line.
Yes. Are we live?
Yes, you are live on Kear Radion 95.9.
All right. Good morning, Liberia. Good morning, Kear Radio. Good morning, listeners. It's a good Saturday today. I'm glad you guys will all join us. Saturday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Hope you all are doing great. George, thank you for the great show. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate Kear Radio, and we appreciate all of our listeners.
Okay, so Mr. Tennis, you any word for Mr. Michael?
No, Michael is part of the team, and so we Michael is representing us. Let's get it moving. Thank you, Mike.
Okay.
We call him Ansu. Michael Asumana Padmo. You got to put it Ansu there.
Yes, brother. Anywhere you calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from Lockington.
Calling from Lockington, Michael. Welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Yeah, thank you for the conversation. Really, young people like I think we are happy for this kind of discussion. Really, we very encouraged. I will listen more. I will be able to learn. And I will listen from our brother abroad. Encourage more people that will listen and not just listen. Learn. So thank you.
Okay, my brother. Let's go back to the line to this other caller. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, my brother. Your name, where you calling from?
Yeah, I call for the first the John when he visually impaired.
Oh, visually impaired, John.
Yeah, I took off from Cap before I was discussing about the price of burger wheat.
Okay.
Yes. And since that one when you buy a house, don't buy a house with one door.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you buy a house with one door, if your enemy come before the door, how will you escape? What I'm trying to say that we shouldn't rely on America too much.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we have a whole lot of resources that we can store that in case of anything tomorrow, we will to escape from it. But now we are depending on America. You see what is going on in the other country now. So we will feed the infant because when the two elephants fight, grass can feed it. So we are the local people who will feed it because the big people are in government having money. But how we the visually impaired, we don't see. Even to get food to eat, not easy. So the several things happening, whether we can be in worry. So we say thank you for following America. Our brothers are there to educate us. And we'll be on our guard. By the special grace of God, God will take care of we are the visually impaired in this nation. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank
Good afternoon. Hello, caller. Oh, good afternoon.
Let's take two more callers and then we get back to the discussion.
Yes. Good afternoon.
You're speaking with Clarence People.
Your name, sir?
Clarence People from Kuwait.
Oh, Florence. Okay. Welcome to the program. Calling from where?
From Kuwait.
From Kuwait.
Yeah.
Am I calling from the region?
I want to say thank you for the chance.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Kuwait in Liberia.
country now living
Oh well.
it's beyond bad war. Everyone depending on America. Now America don't give us nothing. We don't get nothing to live. And so I want to tell the government to please send as men to gain independence of our own reason being that we need to start doing something for ourselves. Yeah, we shouldn't be depending on other countries. Yes, it will not be good for us. So I want to say thank you.
Okay, my brother.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dennis, you wanna come in?
He says Nick Clarence from Kuwait.
Yeah.
Okay, Clarence from you taking all the numbers, right? Because we got small things for them. All right. So thank you. And if you are in the US or in the diaspora and you want to call it 605-313-6004, the code is 791-403#. But sorry, when you're calling from the diaspora, you're not getting nothing today.
Oh, I think I haven't called from my end because the line keep jamming.
Okay, let's go. Let me see if I can get a call from Ganta or Sacred.
Okay. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, Nisa. And where you calling from?
Kamara calling for Iron Gate.
Calling from Iron Gate, Kamara.
Okay.
Welcome to the program.
I just want to say to our BB people up there because they are almost like our BB people too. You see, anytime you kind of discussion that's going on, just remember that maybe something that is coming to happen.
That's right, you.
Because it didn't happen before that when sometimes when the blind man want to talk to you already having the argument. So like the Avengers is something that on our side. So we Gabriel gotta get ready to depend on our own. Yes, we need to get ready to do something for ourselves. Like our mother asked, our leader are even thinking about how Gabriel will be low. So for me, I listen to focus on Liberia always.
Oh wow, that's
my
good.
First time calling.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I love their discussion they always put on. So we pray for long life for them and to continue to focus like
Okay, Kamara.
Thank you. And the reason we're doing the show because there's already war in Iran and it's having impact. That's why we want to discuss the disruption in trade. It's not that intelligent that war coming happen. Go ahead.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes, my brother. Please, can you be audible a little bit? Come in low.
Just say talk louder. Don't use B word.
Afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah,
calling from where?
Community.
Okay, welcome.
No, what's the name and which community?
Your name, what? Your name, sir?
I need Orlando.
Oh, Orlando. Okay.
Obando.
Calling from. Okay, that's good. Obando. Welcome to the program.
Calling from where?
Yeah, thank you.
Sony when?
Okay, my favorite place. Johnny just come was there.
Everybody, every area, every place. But welcome to the program.
No,
okay.
Now in the thing with the show is that I think it's a lesson for
my brother, yeah. Obano, you're not bad. Can you please change your location a little bit? Good afternoon.
Hello.
Yeah, my brother. Your name, where you calling from?
Bro, James calling.
James calling from Sunny
Kole, Babua.
I knew they are going to be happy.
Okay. The topic on the discussion, they start with me when the people in class with the small country we tend to suffer. As a result, they want to see as a following, noticing that we stay struggling down the land like Liberia, the other countries in Africa, we will suffer because.
Yeah. Oh.
All right. Let's take one more caller.
Okay. So, good afternoon. Oh, we lost our caller there. 0777 959 959 0881 870 871 670 and 0777 959 959 and 0881 871 670. The numbers to call and be a part on Focus on Liberia on Kear Radio 95.9.
George, let me announce, we have no woman caller yet.
Let me tell the caller quickly.
So if we have female caller, would double the giveaway for that female caller.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, my brother. Your name, where you calling from?
This is Orlando Debe. I'm calling you 12th Street.
12th Street, Orlando. Okay, welcome to the program.
Yeah. Thank you so much for taking us concerning about what happening in those areas affecting us, will affect us in the future. So I think Liberia will have to go back to the source and see how best we can import something out so that at least we will not be having the kind of difficulty tomorrow.
Go back to the soil and
go back to the soil. Okay. Go back to the soil, like then they said, go back to the soil. Good afternoon.
George, are the last caller?
Yes, the last caller, and then we'll go over straight to the brother keeper. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my brother.
Yes, sir. Your name, where you calling from?
My name is Anthony Kangana. I'm calling from Totota to be precise.
Anthony,
Totota.
Welcome to the program, my brother.
Thank you so much. I just sitting on the radio and listening to discussion and enjoying it. It reminds me about war in Liberia. When the people coming from Nima, Bong, when the war hit that side, we don't have anything like that coming on this side. So those are emotional could not get anything from that side. And emotional, you want to school people for some time. I still not happy with the war that going on right now, where you are in that of Israel. We country, when the point started, it will affect the Africans, especially for Liberia. We got anything for ourselves. We are not showing anything. We depend on the Westerners to help us. So I would like to thank you ever so much for this program. I would always like to listen to it. Thank you.
Okay, my brother. Thank you for calling. Brother Dennis, I cross order you.
Thank you. And because the interest the people have shown, we're going to continue this same program on Thursday. I mean, not the same program. We'll continue the same exercise of giveaway on Thursday at 8 p.m. So we got calls from all over Monrovia. We got Bombay, we got Nimba, and Bon County. So
and the calls keep coming in.
Yeah. So we'll continue. Tell your callers. We'll continue. We'll still have some calls and do giveaway on Thursday at 8 p.m. Liberia time.
Yeah, listen to you.
Right. So please. Any more caller? Because as CEO, I want to give grace.
Yes. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, my brother. Your name, where you calling from? Calling from where? Your name? Mike Gibby. Oh wow, that's good, my brother.
What's the name?
A name. Kone?
You repeat the name to me, or George.
Your name?
Fofana.
Fofana. Okay, Fofana. Calling for Mike Gibby. Welcome, my brother.
Yeah, my brother.
Fofana, DJ.
I'm so happy for it because we have begun a real place in Liberia. We don't have no, let's say, anything you can say, any problem what we supposed to have the need for everything focused on in America. We need to go in the very normal day. At this time we do that. We don't want to just sit down in the city. Let us not try to create for avenue that like that want to get of two steps, see that we want to benefit in the country depending on America. And our brother in the state, they're trying to give your idea to all the country here. So can I be that ability to other people so they will be useful?
Okay, my brother, can't be liability. We need to go back to the soil. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my brother. How you coming on?
We're doing good, my brother. Your name, where you calling from?
Maliki Zikere calling for power.
Your name?
I'm Maliki.
Oh, Mali Singh, calling from Carway. Okay, welcome to the program, my brother.
Okay, thank you. My brother, looking at the Liberia situation, but the need problem like that we have to for ourselves. If we don't do it so, ready the other country that they will be ready mounting at us, and also they cannot respect us. Can you imagine 170, almost 77 or 72 years? Can you imagine that rough period of time? We cannot get nothing for ourselves. We get a lot of resources in the country. We cannot able to make nothing for ourselves. We always take our resources and send it out for small money. No benefit, nothing. So I'm just appealing to the Liberia government, let it try hard and help us. That's time for ourselves, please. Thank you.
Okay, my brother. Let's another caller on this line. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Yes, my brother. Yes. Your name, where you calling from?
My name is Sabo from Bomi County.
Bomi County, Sapoga. Welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thank you. Thank you for this discussion on your research aspect. I want to commend your panelists for the brilliant discussion. And what they have said, they are all in charge. The casualty the world will suffer when it comes to the study of the oil as it relates to what is now happening between Iran and the other folks there. We as underdeveloped countries will be the ones that will be mostly victimized, man. Because someone mentioned on your show that we should build a report system. Like we are looking at like a country, we haven't gotten to that point of doing reports in every aspect of our society. So at least we are hearing calling upon national government to see the appropriate authorities listening to this show to take seriously into consideration as to how they can start to step, because we're not until the damage is caused, then we say we will start preparing for us. Someone mentioned again that even the ants, and that made me to laugh. The ants will start to keep, they start to hedge, and when the rain season comes, and they will be able to maintain and sustain on what they have kept to another term of that season. So I think our government officials and those who with the authority to apply, mentor, and put into place methodology that will help us have a bit of relief with this across the group. Thank you for having me on your show.
Okay, my brother, thanks for calling. The number is called 0777 959 959 081 Yeah.
I was waiting for female caller, but we didn't get it, so we got to go back.
Okay, so to our mothers and our sisters, please.
It's the calls are over now. We got to continue. But Thursday we're going to give out more giveaways. We have almost like 18 callers, so we got plenty of money to give away. So, so let's go back to give them. We want to appreciate all those who call. Tell your friends, tell your friend, tell your friend, tell their friend, the friend tell their friend that Thursday we're going to also have some giveaways, and let them call. Focus on Liberia. We educate, we elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We are by far the best, the only station that does this kind of thing. And so please keep tuned to Focus on Liberia. We don't just talk politics. We also educate people and tell them about exactly what's going on in their country. The you say and I say business, we're not inside. We don't take side with this politician, that politician. We can talk about health. We can talk about economy. We can talk religion. We talk literature. We talk politics, of course. We talk technology. We talk everything right here on Focus on Liberia. Gabe, let's continue.
No, Dennis, thank you. There were a lot of calls. I don't think I can pick anyone particularly to respond to. Percy, would you like to respond to any of those calls?
I'm just surprised. Before even respond, my response, I'm surprised that the amount of people that are engaged on a day-to-day basis on these things. I never expected the amount of calls that was coming in to be coming in, right? So it tells you people are more engaged into and want solutions. They're not just engaging for engagement, but they also want solution, because most of the callers I heard, they say the end of our government can do this, our government can do that. So people are not just engaging for the sake of engagement, they're also looking for solutions to what confronting them. And so I think this is where we come in as panelists, as people who have been are well versed on this issue to provide solution for our people, right? And so
Perfect.
knowing what I know now, I want to be a part of this program every morning to sensitize our people on the prevailing issue. Again, like Dennis said, it's not about politics, because we can talk the politics later on, but it's also it's more about you, the individuals. What kind of problem you having, what's the solution to that problem, and who holds the keys to unlocking those potential that you have, right? So those are the kind of conversation I want to be engaged in. I'll probably make time every Saturday if this is going to continue, so that we can be here. And probably the giveaway is also something that I like. I think people shouldn't just call here. We should make it fun. I think the giveaway makes the whole. It's not so much about what you're giving away or getting people to come, but I think it makes it fun. It makes it engaging. It makes people want to tune in, right? So I'm part of this now. I think I like where this is headed because we got people attention. But for me, it's more about the solution for what these people are confronting. That's what I care about the most.
That is a good
And before we
segue.
come in, Josh, I want you to collect all the people that call, how many people, and so we can announce what they're going to get today. But so Gabriel, go ahead. Why Josh is going to,
And that is a good segue to I think the final part of this discussion as we close up, because we're almost at the hour 30 minutes mark, which is, given what we've talked about so far, given what is happening in the world, and as I like to end this conversation, which I think Percy alluded to, what do we think African countries can do from either immediate, short-term, immediate or long-term perspective to better prepare themselves for these kind of shocks when they happen, because this is not the last time this is going to happen. This is going to continue to happen, or if not when, but eventually. Maybe the better question should be, do we think African countries can get to a point where these kind of shocks, global shocks, do not impact them at all in the future? I think that is the solution we want to look at here. Percy, so I think you mentioned that. So what are some of the solutions you think countries can look at, either at a regional body or at a country specific level?
There's always going to be conflict that, like, we should get that out of the way first, right? There's always going to be these global conflicts that we see: Iran, Israel, US, China. There will always be these tension between these. There will be always tensions between these countries. As Africans and as Liberians, what we can do is to start more thinking about ourselves, like looking at this country, where it's come from and where it is now, and try to figure out where we want to take it, right? 178 years, a lot of years. It's a lot of years of being around, right? So we shouldn't be acting like the newcomers here. We should be acting like people who've been around for long, even though we've been around for long, but we have not matured, right? So it's the maturity part we're talking here now. We have to act as a mature country, right? So a mature country usually have policies, serious policies in place for its people, and so that's what we have to start focusing on, right? Every war that happens is going to have an impact on us. How we absorb those shocks matters, right? What kind of policy I will put in place? Again, I listen to the callers here, and I'm very impressed and I'm very touched, because they sound, the way they sound, but then the disconnect happened for me when these very people then that we listen to here, when elections come, they don't bring these issues to the forefront, because it is you that can fix these things also. Nobody on the radio can fix it for you.
There are different people. There are people calling. They always vote right.
Now I'm saying, right? Only you can fix this. You can fix this issue here. The problem you're having, you have some of the solutions to it, right? Because you can talk about these things when election comes around, and make sure that the people highlight these things. The price of burger, with the price of rice, all those things, your government's supposed to be able to have a handle on this, right? So for me, the solution is more, again, I don't want to overuse the word robust, but robust, it seems to be the buzzword here. We need to have more robust policies in different aspects, and in health, in energy, in agriculture. We need in education. We need serious policy in these areas. That's the only way you can turn Liberia around, right? Our leaders have to start sitting down and thinking about these things strategically, so that, I mean, I'm not saying no man is an island, but so that we can almost be an island, right? We need people, but we not need them that much, right? So that's how we need to. That's what we need to get this country. That's what we need to get our people to the point wherein will not be beggars. Our people will not be beggars. Will be more like partners with other countries or other organizations. We want to take our country to a partnership level, not to the begging level that it still is. And to do that, you have to have strategic, strong policy in terms of healthcare, education, agriculture, energy. Those are the things you need to focus on to get you to a partnership level. If you don't do that, we'll go to the next 178 years. Another group of people will be on the radio talking about the same thing. Another group of people will be calling, talking about how the issues they're still confronting. We are not solving our people problem. And that's where I get frustrated with government, right? We're not solving problem. We're not solving the people's problem. We're enjoying at the people's behest, but we are not catering to them. And that's the problem I have.
And you know, democracy flourish when the people are informed.
Agree.
You know, so I'm excited to. Liberian population is an informed population. I don't like people who say, "Oh, our country is gullible." No, Liberians are very informed. They know what's up. So, with the level of participation, what we are encouraging now is the people that are in power. They enjoy when you don't know anything. So when they come to you and say, even though the person that lawmaker and say, "I will build your bridge," even though that's not their function, you agree to them. But with the information that you are getting, we want you to challenge them. We want you to come to them and say, "This is what we want." Don't let people come to you and say, "This is what I want to give you." If you say, "This is what we want," they're going to tailor their message to suit what you need. They're going to do what you want them to do. Focus on Liberia was started because in Liberia, they know Liberia only for, you mean the country, the free slave, the first female president, and then, you know, the best footballer. Yeah. The country Liberia is more than that. We also talk about love, entertainment, inflation, you know, the GDP, everything. That's what country is. So what we are doing is to expand your knowledge so that we can talk everything, not just politics and not just cheese and fries. So I am happy that the people are, you know, participating and they want the best. And all of them, the thing is, we are not doing this. We have to do this so that we can stand on our own 2 feet. But if you don't do that, and they gave the example, you know, and that thing I took it from Jesus. He said, if the ants that crawling on the ground can think about raining days, what's about you? Josh, before Gabriel comes in, do we have an idea how many people call? And
we have 23 callers.
23 callers.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we after the call, after the show, you and I are going to tabulate. So for each person who call, we'll start with scratch card. We'll send you $5 scratch card. How is that?
I think for me, we need to discuss it off air. We need to discuss it because yeah.
No, we want to be transparent. What they getting, they gotta know.
Sure. Sure. We're getting $5 scratch card each, but that we'll discuss it behind our back.
And we're making it sweet so they will come again.
Definitely.
All right. $5 scratch card. They will get it. That means say it. Gabriel.
The talking man himself. But Gabriel just smiling.
Right. You know, I'm the only, you know, the CEO of this Focus on Liberia, and the only person who is well-rounded, who know almost everything. Gabriel.
Yeah. No, thank you. I think Percy perfectly elaborated on you know, I think what he looked at was the country level, but I think we also, you know, have to look at exactly what he talked about on the regional level as well. I know, you know, as a continent, we're not very united on a lot of things, but you know, from a sovereignty's perspective, in terms of, you know, viability, we have to look at these things, because when the Ukraine war happened, that's exactly how we acted, right? We sent the president of South Africa to go talk to the president of Russia and Ukraine about the importation of grain, because it was not just impacting South Africa, it was the rest of the continent, right? So the same strategy we need to look at it at a regional level as well, meaning how do we nearshore manufacturing? Most of these goods that we ship from China or other countries, how do we nearshore them? How do we bring manufacturing on the region, on the continent, right? Same thing, energy sovereignty. Nigeria produces a lot of oil, Angola as well, right? How do we, nearshore those manufacturing? How do we produce, liquefied natural gas in those countries to supply maybe not the entirety of the African country as well, but bulk of the African countries, right? So if a global shock like that happens eventually, which is going to happen, we are not as impacted as, this incident that is currently taking place as well, right? And we also look at, this is not just for natural gas as well. We have to look at other natural resources. How do we nearshore that? So I think Percy perfectly pointed that out. Nearshore everything. So when it happens, in as much that we will have, some, resources coming from those countries, but we're not as we may not be as dependent on them as we normally would. So I think we need to look at this thing entirely from a regional body as well. This is where the AU and other African countries that have the global power, such as Nigeria and South Africa, could step in and make sure that they put the continent in a position to deal with these kind of shocks. But I also agree that we need to look at these things from a country perspective as well, individually. So for me, I think that is the way I think we should be looking at this thing going forward, because shocks, regardless of how prepared we are going to happen. It may not be war the next time. The next time it could be a flu, or it could be another pandemic 2.0. So we have to be in a better position.
Gabriel, quickly before you continue, you use a word as nice, nearshore. What does that mean? Yeah, I want you to break it down for people so that they will know
that. Nearshoring meaning that you have
you trade them right near you.
Right, exactly. Nearshoring meaning that we have most of these goods and dogaflay you see that people sell in those markets. Most of them are not produced on the continent. The clothes that we wear, the gas even that we're talking about, most of them are actually refined on the outside of the continent. So when I mean nearshoring, meaning you have to bring it exactly what it means. Bring it closer to you. Bring it, locally, produce that locally, so that way you have complete access to it. So if something happens, you're better prepared to deal with it. So that's what nearshoring means, meaning bring it closer to yourself, as opposed to outsourcing it.
Thank you. So we want to thank everyone for participating at this time. Or George will come back and we'll all go around the room for your closing as we close. And we'll talk to George, and George will get you your giveaway. So let's close your closing comment, each of us, for 59 seconds. George, what's your closing?
It's good to be here this afternoon, and especially to our callers who are with you the line, and we'll make sure that we get at least scratch card. And Thursday, please, don't forget, Focus on Liberia come on every Tuesday. Tuesday is a repeat, and Thursday live in studio, and Saturday live in studio. So all you need to do, just go on Facebook, search for Focus on Liberia, and follow Focus on Liberia every Thursday and Saturday.
Thank you. Percy?
It was nice being here. Thank you for the time. To the callers, I really appreciate your participation into this discussion. I didn't anticipate it, but I appreciate it. We'll keep coming here and having these conversations, and like Dennis said, we'll keep making this fun also by adding despite that today, you guys are getting the $5 trash card. So hopefully you come back next week. You don't know what's going to be in store, but keep tuning in. You know what I mean? So we're going to keep making this interesting. But by and large, this is about conversation between us as a people, right? Where we going, where we want to go, where we come from. And, you know, that's what Focus on Liberia is about. Keep tuning in, keep participating, keep giving your opinion, keep opining on this stuff, and so we can make Liberia a better place for all of us and our children tomorrow. But thank you, Dennis, for everything.
Thank you. And it is, and what you get as a giveaway depending on how I wake up in the morning. So when I wake up Thursday and I'm feeling so good, you will be surprised what you get. And it's not about a giveaway. We just want to have a way of interacting with our fellow Liberians. I mean, I was so happy as I get people from Totota. Hey, people in Totota, Kumai. We get people from Sanekole. Oh, people from Sanekole. We say, Babua. All of you, please keep calling and keep participating. Focus on Liberia by far is the best ever in the history of history. Gabriel, you're closing.
No, I just thank you for having us on here again. For those of you that are watching, wherever you are, for taking your time. I think we've been here for over an hour and a half. So thank you. As I said, this is very simple. I know when these things happen, we think they are isolated. We're a very globally connected world. We're one village technically. I don't care how near shore we might want to do manufacturing or anything. We are still connected. So, but nevertheless, regardless of that, we also have to think long term as a country. I think looking at sovereignty in its entirety. When I mean sovereignty, I mean everything in its entirety, whether it's energy, your natural resources, and everything else. So for me, I would say, we need to start thinking about nearshoring our manufacturing, meaning you need to start producing things in your country, especially the things that you consume on a daily basis. For us, Liberia, meaning rice, whether we need to start producing those things in the country. If we can't do that, we need to hedge, meaning if you are getting a supply from a different region, you also need to have a secondary region that you're going to be getting those things from, just in case something else happens in a other region, right? So you're not dependent on one region. As a country, you need to have that kind of plan. Last but not least, we need to think in long term. We need to think in decades, centuries. At the foremost, this is a country, and we need to be thinking about its sovereignty. Its sovereignty and viability should be the forefront of everything that we do, whether it's from a policy perspective. Everything should be driven by that. How do we maintain our sovereignty in perpetuity? So again, thank you for having us on here. This was a great conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. And if you are out there and the way we are having a good time with our people in Liberia and you want to contribute towards the giveaway, please send us some little help. The Cash App and the Zelle number is on the screen, 651-392-6224. We are, and we want to wrestle the country from the forces of evil and misinformation and just ignorance. We want to wrestle them. So anything we can do to make that happen, please help us contribute towards our cash giveaway for our people calling from Liberia. I want more girls, female, to call as well. We want to have that balance. I have sisters. My family is surrounded by female. My first child is a girl, so I am just a female advocate, if you want to call it. Want more women to call and participate. But if you want to contribute towards that, our Cash App, our Zelle is on the screen. Or if you want to overall contribute to Focus on Liberia as we do this, we are by far the only people doing this kind of thing. So please help us. Our Cash App, 651-392-6224. That's also our Zelle number. We want to again thank our experts here for being on. We thank Kear Radio for carrying our voices to our people in Liberia. We want to thank our callers, our viewers, even those who will watch later. Here at Focus on Liberia, we never close any broadcast without playing the song that says, we are all Liberians. Whether you are from Cample or Zontuo, you are from Pabli, or you are from Feasible, you are from Bokondre, or you are from Compound 3, or Jacobtown, or you are from Sonimwe, we are all Liberians. The only thing that should keep us awake at night is we do our very best to make our country the glorious land of liberty. Have a good day, and God bless you.
We are Liberians. Liberia is our home. Liberian people. Liberia.